My name's Mike Dyson. I'm a retired firefighter, but round about the time of the floods I was actually doing some voluntary work for the park as a ranger's helper.
In the afternoon, Kathy, my friend, phoned me up. She said, "Barbara," she says, "there's a big flood in the park. All the water from the reservoir is now running on the paths."
It all started one afternoon, and we'd had loads of rain. There wasn't very much we could do, and we could see that the water level had been increasing all the time.
I do a lot of conservation work in the park, and I work with the children, with the nature club. We take the children into the woods and the fields. We go hunting, looking for flowers and insects and things like that. They learn an awful lot from us.
When I got back home, my son had just come home from school, and we were both members of the sailing club at Ulley, so we both knew the park quite well. And he pestered me to death. Can we go and have a look? And I said, no way I'm going, not when weather's like this, you know, it's not fit to take our car out. Eventually, I gave way, so I think it was about 7 o'clock-ish in the evening. We came and we had a look, and because it was raining so heavy, I brought my camera with me.
I decided I'd go and have a look, so I climbed into my car and parked in the car park. Everything seems to be normal, except it was very wet and still raining.
We parked in the car park at Ulley, and we had a walk towards the sailing tower. When we got to the sailing tower, the water was about 2 foot above the bottom of the sailing tower. And the water level had gone up about 4 foot from 4:30 that afternoon. Me and Matthew, well, if I say hot-footed it, I would say we wet-footed it to the big overflow, and we could see that the water was about 18 inches deep, going over the full width of the overflow, which was about 6 or 7 metres wide. 2 rangers that came was Big John and Little John, as I call them. When they arrived, we actually went into one of the workshop containers and we got waders. The footpath started getting deeper and deeper in water.
The water, where you should be able to walk on the path here under the trees, it was like that and you couldn't.
I would say that we were at least waist deep in water, just walking along the normal footpath. When we got to the dam wall, that's when it was noticed that the water was actually coming down a small channel, and it had actually started to erode the dam wall. The noise, I'll never ever forget the noise, because it was absolutely unbelievable, and the whole of the water flowing down was very, very red. Me and my son Matthew, we stayed all that night, helping in any way that we could. We started seeing fire appliances coming from all over the country. I can honestly say that I've been in the fire service for 30 years, and I've never ever seen as many fire engines from as many different fire brigades as what I saw over the next day or two.
My first view when I got there were about 8 or 10 different fire engines that had come from all over the country. I noticed there was Oxford on one, there was Northampton on another, there was Staffordshire, there was Birmingham.
There were specialist fire appliances that had got high capacity water pumps, and the idea was that they would try and pump as much water out of the reservoir as possible over the wide overflow, which wasn't causing any problems. It was the morning after that things started looking a little bit better, although I can remember somebody saying to the reservoir engineer, "How long are you staying for, Jim?" And he just turned around and said, "I'm staying here till it goes."
The force of the water was washing the stones from the side of this spillway, and then it was coming and bouncing over onto the soil that was holding the dam wall.
And at the worst possible time, if you had a look at the dam wall, you could actually see there were 2 or 3 places where the water looked as if it was seeping through from the reservoir side. They tried putting these bags, 1-ton bags of ballast, down the narrow channel, which was causing the problem.
But the force of the water was so great that when they put the bags of aggregate down, the water just washed it away, so all the aggregate was washed down.
Somebody come up with a brilliant idea that they could try and put a skip in its path, and it was just before the very narrowest point. There's a little bridge over the channel. They managed to put this skip in, and it was hugely successful.
We didn't know at this point what was going to happen because we knew that it'd been damaged. We knew that they'd stopped the likelihood of the dam wall breaking and letting the water out. We knew that they got it sort of stable, but then they had to think about the future.
There were all sorts of rumours going around. They were going to close it, they were going to drain it, they were going to use it as a landfill site. Nobody knew exactly what was going to happen.
The other problem, as being a secretary of the Friends of Ulley, and the group of us that were terribly interested in the park, we'd been running about 10 months when all this happened, and we thought, well, we knew that it would give the council another reason to drain the reservoir and actually close the park, which is what they decided they were going to do a year before. The Friends of Ulley, we met and decided that we needed to have a petition. The wording of the petition was decided by us at a meeting. It said, "We, the undersigned, sincerely request the elected members of Rotherham Metropolitan Borough Council to retain and restore Ulley Reservoir and Country Park as near as possible to what it was before the devastation of the 25th and 26th of June 2007. And that is the petition at the top of the petition that everybody signed. And by the beginning of October, we got 4,300 signatures. And we attended the council meeting. It was left as the last item on that meeting, so all the councillors voted that Ulley Reservoir should be rehabilitated, restored. They agreed to do what the petition said. We, of course, were thrilled to bits. We agreed to meet on Saturday in the park where we celebrated. Somebody was so keen on us celebrating that they bought a couple of crates of champagne. I had the job of standing on the jetty and opening a bottle of champagne, and having not done that before, not quite sure what had happened, and I got all this champagne squirting out and covering people with champagne, and they thought it was hilarious.
The park now, I think, is better for the flood because it's obviously been upgraded and we should never have the same type of problem again. But it was definitely an experience I'll never ever forget, I can assure you.